Oh man, one of my favorite action adventure games, the Darksiders series. Today I will be covering the being known as Death. He is a Nephilim that turned against his others. This is no place for a horse. Oh, small inside joke for those that have played the game. But before I go any farther, thank you all that have donated to the channel. Appreciate it a lot. You gotta respect the Pale Rider, my dude. The Reaper, Kinslayer, Executioner, whatever you want to call him. He has many names because he's a freaking Nephilim. He is the elder and the most powerful of the four horsemen, as far as we know. His name is feared throughout the realms of creation. He was among the four that betrayed their Nephilim kin when the race grew out of control, so he had to take him on. Doing so, they exchanged for a vast of power by this shard council entity. Death himself had killed the leader of the Nephilim, Absalom, in single combat, and that's why he wears this mask to signify he is the most feared executioner of these. I would say he's the strongest out of all of them. I would say they're still not like feathers in comparison to him. Like I would say like Death is like 100, maybe Fury might be a 91 or something. You know, like they're still relatively comparable, even if some has the advantage over one another, like War and stuff like that. But it seems like Death is dang near invulnerable because literally got impaled, but he was okay afterwards. And yeah, that's the chart count. Just for raw strength, they can fight things way bigger than them because size doesn't matter. A Leviathan, for example, like look at the size comparison. Oh yeah, let me get on this gear inside of his mouth, like literally how big it is. Death can force his mouth open just for raw pushing power. He has like these scythes, they call him the Harvester, one of his many equipment he has. Of course in the game it's an RBG. You can like have a whole bunch of different scythes, does combos with them. Has like a little spectral form with it. You know what I mean? Just classic little stuff, the combos. He has like a large assortment of different types of hammers or axes. Notice how he can make craters in the ground with the impact he uses. And it seems like he got like a magic satchel like a lot of video game characters do, pulling weapons out of absolutely nowhere. He has like fast-paced weapons as well, where you can just like use his speed. It's like boxing gloves, I would say. Like, whoop, 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 whoop. He has his weapon known as the Redemption, a freaking pistol, kind of like his brother Strife, part of his gear. Respect it. Seems to have pretty good aim as well. Being a Reaper type character, of course, he seems like he has some type of soul manipulation. Like he has this thing known as the Death Grip. He has this thing known as the Phase Walker. Another good angle of the Redemption pistol, you know, he got a gun. Combined with Mercy, other weapons put together, yeah, that's Strife. Blasting back powerful demons like this, you know, this is not Death using it in this particular occasion though. It's powerful enough to even break Demon Lord's shield with just the blast power, pushback of this pistol. Being a powerful being, one of the best horsemen, he can summon a horse known as Despair. He can literally summon it anywhere, no matter where, even on top of a flying dragon. Like, yeah, we can just summon it no matter what. He's even skilled on combat, even while he is riding on the horse. Slice, 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 get out the way. He seems to have a form of teleportation, or one could say this could be just a betrayal of just his raw speed, moving like a blur. It just depends on how you look at it, right? One could say his different magical abilities, like this magical death grip, kind of like it can stretch his arm. One could say a spectral type of arm, right? Like how he can be summoning these spectral forms like storing items where they don't take up too much space or weigh him down. Magic satchel. Honestly, respect the death grip. Pull you over here. He can do this to enemies and pull them closer. He can summon like magical hands as an extension of himself, kinda. One could say he has like the multi-form technique. He can like split his soul in two to where it's like a statue of death, but then the other two can accomplish something else like this. Like it's both him though, you know what I mean? This will be kind of hard to fight in combat too. Just gonna always summon it no matter what. And he can do it like that during combat. So if he's fighting somebody, he can pop up from above. He doesn't have to summon it right next to him. One could say Death has like his own Super Saiyan transformation. Most of the time he's in this form right here, as you can see, but then he has other mode where he's getting serious mode. His Reaper mode, which is basically his ultimate mode, makes him very extremely hard to kill. Anything this base form can do, this form can do better. It even has a lot of assortment of abilities. Like every time it pops up, it gets real, and it seems like it's like unstoppable in cutscenes and stuff. He doesn't even try to evade. He just like goes straight up ham and destroys the villains. You know, overwhelming them blitz style with overwhelming amount of power. Like overloaded them with raw strength. It's just like these big old stone things just get obliterated. Like this in this occasion, this giant thing gets obliterated. Just too much power. His brother or characters like War have formed like this too, so it's nothing new, right? Chaos form, Death's Reaper form. But before I go farther right quick, to get an idea of how strong the characters in this universe are, you got to get an idea of how strong the opponents they face, even characters that are considered minions to them, like literal fighters or minions or nothings to them, not even bosses to these characters. How durable are these characters they have to slice and dice up? Well, I got a good example for you. The minion-ish creatures of this universe can take like orbital falls from orbit, like meteors clashing, city-shattering levels of durability is the little minions or fighters they fight. War has to be able to produce, like you see how far they fell? Fire, they're literally fighting while they're falling. You know what I mean? Angels and things like that too. And look at that. Look at all that power they can withstand. And yet these same creatures are fine right after all of that. They just continue fighting without any cuts or bruises. Yet death and war or horsemen's cut down characters like this, rips into their same skin, and their skin is fine after all of that. What does this mean, you ask? Well, this basically means that even fighters or best minions of the universe are like city-ish level. So death and them have to be leagues above that in their base, because they do this or destroy these characters in their base forms. Death is no exception to this. I mean, if Death ever encounters regular humans, this is how he sends them flying with ease. Does this to like a corrupted construct. He has the strength to just rip things apart like this. He can overpower things way bigger than him like that. Fourth is being impersonating war. His brother sends him flying that high. It's kind of like a skill feat as well. And look how you can just parry attacks from beings this big, like boom. Strength, right? Thing is big, thick, and solid. How this same construct was able to do this to this brick wall. For an example of his power, like he's just parrying attacks from these beings. Like a showing of skill, they're making shockwaves with their attacks. A being that was impersonating war. Yeah, that's not really war though, but yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Was able to push back characters like Samael, one of the mightiest beings in this universe, countered with war in the first game. And this is what he can do with his like his telekinesis, like this big old platform. Yeah, he's fighting people like this. I just need us to get a game where all of these Darksider characters are playable. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, but by the way, he's dang near invulnerable, got stabbed by War here, but guess what? This is where War gets his arm cut off here. Applied to be superior. Just implications here. Strife and all the other horsemen too. When it comes to raw fighting speed and reflexes, he can indeed dodge bullets after they are fired. Reflexes, baby. And in the comic lore, guy tries to throw a whip at him. Combat instinct type of stuff. Just catches the whip with reflexes, right? In the comics as well, he's even deflected shurikens more than once. Dodged any attacks from Archon, one of the angel type characters he's fought. Combat speed. Battle feat as well, by the way. Fighting some of the top tiers. And fighting the main guy of the game. Yeah, I'm going to go back to him in a second. Yeah. Speed. I mean, he's always fighting like building size stuff, and he treats them like they always want some of him, man, but he's too much for him. I mean, he has thousands of years of fighting experience, so of course he can beat undead folk. Just easily disarming them in combat, just enable them. Surrender. These people gotta learn to stop. Like, these fighter city type of characters just get sliced up. Like, they're durable enough to endure falls from like orbit and shattered chunks of a city, and he just cuts them up. Area of effect type, like if you're trying to surround him on some crowd control stuff, he can toss his scythes around him and kind of like summon a little spectral form of his Reaper form if he wishes too. And this is one occasion with the scythes. Yeah, just too freaking good with it. You gotta respect it with the scythe. Yet another occasion here, another opponent got his little shield, knocks the shield off, boom, sliced it in half, summons it like that. Yet another occasion, battle feat. These people ain't ready. Yeah, he's good with it like that, even predicting movements like that. Catch you. One of the mightiest beings he's fought, Samael, he was able to anticipate his teleports. Like that. Boom. He fights the Leviathan, even though it's huge, fights it from the inside, like that. Notice his immortality. I know I keep going back to this feat, but like notice how he, like the big old sword went through him all the way, but then in the next panel, where the heck is the wound? I mean, he took a blast from this being, very powerful being that blasted Death so hard he went flying through that many things. Catches himself in the process though. Why is this impressive? You ask, the same being that blasted him was able to cleanse an entire city of corruption. But this kind of backs up the city shattering levels of power, kind of. I know it's not blasting away the city, but just a vast radius of power. He's durable enough to get embedded into the ground. Boom, boom, boom. Like that. It gets embedded into rock. Like so, right? He just gotta rip his arm out. Like, yeah, he got engraved in it. Even gets top tiers on the verse when he got slammed with the telekinesis into the ground pretty hard by Samael. A being that's way above those fighter city shattering folk in the raw power. Got hit with this giant axe. Not that lifting strength matters, but I've already confirmed that like these horseman characters can lift over hundreds of tons, because in my war video that I made, I proved that war can lift like a whale. Death should be able to do similar things physically, obviously, but that's nothing compared to how hard they can hit though, right? That's just the bare minimum. But shall we go back to a Super Saiyan form right quick? Let me go back to it right quick. When he has to, he can turn into the Reaper form to really finish off creatures when it's like the final blow. Does this to the Guardian, cuts off his giant arm, all that freaking power. One shot to a powerful angel in their finishing moves. He does this to a giant column. Look at the giant column that's about to be thrown at him. Check out the raw power. Slice, yep, flies, then does that to the angel. Too much power. Unstoppable in that mode. Does this to Absalon's arm, the main boss of the... He's like the living embodiment of chaos in this world, yeah. Too much power though. Made like an entire citadel shake by slamming him into the wall so hard, like that. Slice and dicing up. See, I can just overwhelm things. It slices up from the inside and comes back. Yeah. Straight up, just straight on fly, like taking on different creatures. It's like a teleportation slash, like woof, or that could just be raw speed, you know what I mean? Kind of something like a ghostly reaper, like you see what I'm saying, like a little form of himself. He uses it to augment his own strikes, like you see how it just pops up like the reaper form. That like him in semi-transformation state when he does that. Instead of going full-blown more, it's like a little spectral form. This personally kind of reminds me of a Susano, like energy construct. We already know he's supersonic when it comes to just raw fighting speed, but I feel like a better way to understand his fighting speed is to get an understanding of how fast his brothers and sisters can fight. You know, other Nephilim, like Fury. Fury had a Pride boss battle. This lady named Pride was kind of able to blast off lasers, and Fury's able to, you know, dodge these attacks. You know, but I don't want to reach too hard. You know, that's just a possibility. Good possibility, might I add, of them being massively hypersonic, or maybe light speed when it comes to fighting speed, possibly, right? Of course, you remember it is game mechanics, and of course the lasers aren't going to look as fast as other lasers, you know what I mean? And the game features of the game, it was even stated that Death is the most feared of the legendary four horsemen, able to destroy entire worlds and battle forces beyond heaven and hell. Does that mean he can produce 53 quadrillion megatons of force with one attack, or does that mean over time? I mean, even if you don't use all of Death's feats, look at some of Fury's feats. There's this being in the universe known as a Abraxas that evidently quote unquote threatened the world. Just stuff like this, it's vague, but hey, it's part of their lore.
It's the matter of Abraxas to discuss. Earth is to remain intact. It must be dealt with. He threatens your balance.
These are the type of characters that Fury has fought. I know this is not necessarily Death's feat, but Death physically should be superior to characters like Fury, like his sister, right? He's the best of the horsemen. He should be able to do something similar or defeat the same being if he had to, right? But yeah, it is vague though, you know what I mean? It was even confirmed even more in the same game. The false lord would be a false god. He would hollow this planet as he hollows souls. Another implication of planetary levels. Fury can defeat and fight beings like this. I would say Death should be implied to be like this as well. I'd say continental striking force is fair for these guys, right? You guys, debatable universal is type feats fighting the avatar of chaos, a being that if Death didn't stop would have corrupted the entire existence itself, like legit environmental destruction.
Corruption devours the black stone, as it has countless worlds, as it will the forged lands, the undead plains, even Earth. That is corruption. What does it seek? End of existence itself. And in its place, nothingness. And how do we fight that?
You heard it yourself, guys. Basically fought an avatar of chaos, defeated it. Something that would have brought it into the freaking universe or existence itself. Remember, this universe has several different whole dimensions. Remember that Death overpowered this same being like I showed earlier.
You cannot stop me without forever damning your soul. Then so be it.
Death is able to do major damage to this dude, even in his base form in the cinematics of the game. So just remember that, the dodge I showed earlier, speed, see that? Respect it. Dude was going to destroy all of existence. He really fought something that's dangerous. So I would say Death is pretty concrete after all this evidence. Yeah. Yeah. Ouch. But guys, that's just about going to do it. Can you check out those playlists so you can see more stuff like this? Did you know death and these characters in this lore is this interesting, this fun, this powerful? Do you think I was reaching too much? Do you think they're like city shattering, continental, planetary, or even possibly universal, since he was able to fight a being that was going to corrupt the entire universe? Even though that was just like over time through corruption. But, you know, I don't think it blasted away a universe. You know what I mean? But I say it's safe to say they're in the continental ranges, possibly in the earth shattering ranges if they really want to. These are some very powerful beings. You know what I mean? They don't have as many games as I would like for them to. But check out those playlists so you can see more stuff like this. Do you think I should do more video game type stuff? Let me know. If this does well, I probably will do more video game stuff. But it has to do well, though, for me to even be motivated, because this stuff takes a lot of work. But I will see you guys later. Respect death. And this is no place for a horse.